Welcome to the Controlling Cash Flow and Credit Club, where we talk home-based business, income shifting strategy, and credit repair with your host Melissa King, my econ, and Tony of the Tony Clopton Show. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and leave us a comment. Now let's do this. Welcome to the Controlling Cash Flow and Credit Club, where we talk home-based business, income shifting strategy, and credit repair with your host Melissa King, my econ, and Tony of the Tony Clopton Show. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and leave us a comment. Now let's do this.
Hey, I don't know what my computer was doing.
It's okay.
It started playing the intro, then it went to the countdown, then it went back to the intro. I was like, you know what? Do what you want to do. Do
Right.
whatever you want to do, computer, because it's on you. Hey, y'all. Welcome to the show. This is
What's
Melissa
up? What's up?
And this is my partner over here, Professor Clopton. Now, if you're looking on YouTube, I have pinned Professor Clopton's link to his page because he's still trying to get to 1,000, y'all. Where you at, Tony? You at like what?
450, 500, somewhere around there?
He close, y'all. He real
Close.
So, if you catch this, whether you're watching it live or the replay, let me do this before I forget you. And put it on Do Not Disturb. Okay. So whether you watching us live in action or you catching the replay, please, in the words of James Brown, go over there and support this man and subscribe to his channel. He might look like he don't have a whole lot to say, but he got about 50,000 videos over there of him doing everything from cutting up and acting a fool to dropping financial nuggets. So whatever it is, you know, if you don't like it, skip past it, look at another. But he got too much going on over there for y'all not to subscribe to the Tony Clopton Show.
You right.
So I had to put that out there. Hey, Sylvia Mayo.
Well, thank you.
First guest up in here tonight is Miss Be Amazing Sylvia.
Be amazing.
Thank you for coming through, Sylvia. So Tony.
Yes.
It's 2025, right?
Yes.
Brand spanking new year. New ain't even all good yet. Got the new year smell to it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What is it? Let me do this. No, I can multitask a little bit, but not a whole lot. So tonight's show, I went back and dug up the actual thumbnail from last year. Just because this is an annual event. We talked about this last year, right? We talked about how once a year you have to go to the doctor. Am I right? Or you should. Not saying everybody does it. But they encourage us once a year to go get your checkup. They're going to check your blood work. They're going to, feel on you, rub on you a little bit, see if you feel all right. Check your temperature, get on the dreaded scale. And all of that good stuff. We don't like it, or maybe some people do. I don't like it, but anyway, we don't like it. But it's a part of life. It's a part of staying healthy. So just like you do that for your body,
Right.
You also do it for your car. You know, they tell you every 3,000 miles. For me, it's more like 10,000. Go get your oil changed. You
Right.
know, let them check your tires. Make sure
Mm-hmm.
you got the right PSI. You know, all that type of do that
Right.
stuff.
Gotcha.
So, if you want that car to keep running, you got to go take it to get a checkup. Am I right?
That's right.
So we done talked about physical body health. We done talked about car health.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Boss Life Online. Oh my, people coming through tonight. Come on,
Boss
tell
Life,
me.
what's happening, Coach?
It's so good now. And I'm gonna say this while you're on here. Boss Life, Tony was just stalking my community wall page earlier. And he was looking at where I was sharing the friends with super, I'm gonna say it wrong. Friends, anyway, you
Yeah,
know,
that
the
part.
playlist group that we got. He over there talking some, I need to be a part of this. I'm like, all you gotta do is just, sign up
Show
and
up.
show up, play the video. So I'm saying this with you, right? Friends with Super Channel. All he
Okay.
gotta do is go over there. And he might actually get to 1,000 without me having to personally beg each person one by one to go
I want you not to
subscribe to
beg now.
the page. Okay. So
Okay.
anyway, yeah, so we done talked about and this is Boss Life. Y'all check her out. Boss Life, she is a guru. Let's see. I'm clicking on stuff on the desktop and it ain't showing. Oh, there you go. I guess it's a delay. Whatever. But anyway, y'all go check her out. If you're trying to get your channel going, if you want to learn like all the guidelines to what you can and can't do, what's gonna get your hand slapped, get your page snatched, get your monetization going, she
Mm-hmm.
and her group, if you now, just like with everything else, you got to plug in. And I got
That's
to
right.
snap my own hand because I haven't been plugging in like I should lately. But if you go over there, her membership is working. You're gonna pick up all kind of good stuff you didn't even know you needed to know. Okay.
Okay.
So that being said, let me get back to these checkups. Okay, so we done did our physical body checkup. We talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
We done talked about the car checkup.
Right.
What's the most important thing?
Wait a minute, Melissa. You got to get some glory now. You know, God done brought us a long way. He done
Yeah,
brought us to another year.
yeah.
I don't know about y'all, but I made it my business to get the church and get my soul right. Cause without your soul and your mind and your body and all of that stuff work together, you got to give some honor and glory for the Lord that brought you through another year. Now go ahead, Melissa. I had to put that in there.
Okay, so soul checkup.
That's
Your
right.
soul checkup. So I'm with that too. So I done jumped into this. We might have some new people on here. For y'all who don't know us, I am Melissa King. This is Tony Clough. We come on here, somewhat every week ish, and
You say,
ish, and
yeah.
we talk about finances because we are both home based business owners, and we want to spread the word to help everybody be on the right side of the tax system, make your finances good, all that good stuff. So now I done got that out of the way. So
Okay.
the checkup that we are talking about tonight is your financial checkup. Because let me
Mm-hmm.
tell you something. If that financial checkup ain't right, you
Mm-hmm.
ain't gonna be able to afford to go get them other
That's right. That's right.
ones. Because the annual physical usually is free. That car though, that ain't gonna be free. So if
Mm-hmm.
you fool around and let your bank account catch a virus or a little cold or something like that, you may not be able to go get them other checkups that you need to get because you didn't see to that. So,
That's right.
Tony, tell them what they need to do and why it's so important to do this.
Okay, so hey, I'm gonna tell y'all the first of the year, everybody wants to talk about what Melissa said. I got to get my health right, my mind, body, and then you got to look at your finances every year. Everybody talk about getting debt free and getting cash flow positive. So our business, and I got to give it to y'all. Hey, our business is gonna be around for 20 years. 20 years, right? With a plus with the Better Business Bureau. Oh, technology driven, right? And
Exactly.
have cash flowed over $1 billion. That means people in our business are paying off cars and houses and student loan debt and walking away from their job, y'all. So, man, I'm super excited about sharing this because I know y'all know the new president elect is a business owner, and all his buddies coming with him are business owners. All the people in the Senate are business owners, and our business has the perfect setup. Even as an employee, we have to think business. So,
Right.
our first strategy in our business is to show you how to properly adjust your W-4. And I'm going to start right there, Melissa, because I get excited because this is what made me join. And I was like, wow, I've been losing all of these thousands and thousands of dollars. And when I got this information right here, ooh, it set me on fire. So I want to stop right there. And I want to allow you to say a little bit about the first strategy in our business. And I just don't want to I don't want to take over your show, but I just want to just calm down for a little while. But just talk to him a little bit about how that W-4 thing works.
You ain't never had no problem emphasizing that takeover spirit before. Why you being so courteous then?
I'm courteous. It's not my show. It's your show.
Whatever. And let me just say, now when it's not his week to have it on his channel, he's just bubbling full of ideas and want to do all of this stuff. When it's his turn to do it, he's sitting over there like, what we gonna talk about? What we gonna do?
Don't do that.
And he just suddenly forgot how everything worked with the screen yard and all that. So yeah, all right. But anyway, the W-4. Now I ain't gonna lie to y'all. When I first started, I ain't trusted. You know, and this came from me not having a background of money. I'm not
Right.
no money expert. Only thing I knew how to do is to go to work and make it. But I didn't have any formal training on how to spend it, how
Right.
not to spend it.
Mm-hmm.
None of that. I didn't know how taxes work. You
Right.
know, my favorite story I like to share, and this is no lie. I have been a W-2 employee my whole life, meaning I go somewhere and clock in. And,
Right.
you know, even if I'm not physically clocking in, somebody else is controlling my money, my hours, telling me when I got to be there, when I got to go home, when I could be off, all that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That is what we are used to, most of us, because when we get grown, we go out and get a job. Now there's a special subset of people like Tony said, our president and his cronies. All of them are business owners.
That's
Why
right.
are they business owners? Because they know that
Mm-hmm.
owning a business is the best way to be financially fit.
Right.
So when I first got started with this business, Tony was telling me, okay, so we need to go in and update your W-4. And I'm like, you know how you don't want to just come right out and sound dumb. I'm like, the W who? That terminology wasn't just somewhere floating around in my mind. I
Right.
knew what a W-4 was, so you know, because he home team, you know, we come from the same small town. He know what school I went to because he right there with me. He know our extent in money, you know.
Right.
So you know, he
Right.
made it possible for me to say, I ain't got a clue what you talking about. Now what is this W-4 and what it got to do with me? So
Right.
he took me back to remember when you first started your job. They gave you this piece of paper. It had some tax stuff on it. You had to tell them, you know, how many dependents you got and whether you single or married. And I was like, okay, yeah, I remember that. But honestly, I never knew the purpose of it. I never
Mm-hmm.
knew what it was for. I
Right.
knew it was part of the process of starting a job. And I just, you know, a couple of times I had asked, you know, the person in HR, what do I need to do? And, you know, they legally, they're not supposed to tell you, but 9 times out of 10, they don't know for real no way.
They don't
So
know.
it's easy for them to say, well, I can't tell you how to do that. But, you know, they'll tell you quick, well, how many kids do you have? And I'm like, 0. Uh, can anybody else claim you? No. Put 0. And I'm like, that's all I got to do. You know,
Mm-hmm.
no explanation as to why I'm doing this. So I did it. And then, when you start working a job, you get your paycheck. You start looking at your paycheck and you seeing all these Social Security, FICA, state income statement,
Insurance,
all of
Medicaid.
that stuff.
Yeah.
So you looking at it, and if you like me, just going up looking at the amount, because all I'm trying to see is what they taking out. But I didn't have any clue as to the rhyme and reason of why, and how they do that. So
Right.
what I came to realize after joining this business is that W-4 determines how much income tax is coming out of your check.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you like me, and this is why I said I was skeptical, because they was like, you can control how much taxes they take out. And I'm like, no, anybody never told me that. Is this right?
Right.
Like,
And you've been in college, for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. You would think that they would share that information, right?
I'm like, now I don't know about this, Tony. Now you telling me I can tell them how much taxes take out? Because I'm like, I've been seeing a lot of people go to jail. I don't
Right.
know the ins out of their case, but I
So
know.
let me stop right there. So Melissa is telling that part of the story, but this is what I heard. Now, Tony, now I know you graduated, but I don't recall you being in the top of your class, and I sure enough don't recall you going to nobody's college, and you trying to tell me about some money. See, people gonna judge you on your past. See, they ain't gonna talk about where you been and how you flourished, and they don't talk about none of that. All they looking at me like, boy, you came from Cortland, Alabama, and your little class was like 12, and I think you might have been somewhere in the middle, somewhere down in there. That's what I got. Now go ahead on with your story though.
Right. And hey, Kat Memphis, I see Kathy in the chat. Shout out to her. That's my partner out of Dallas, Texas.
What's up, Dallas?
If you meet Kathy, you done met the best of Dallas represented in one stroke.
Okay. Hey, we got some people down there in Dallas. We need to get with you on that, Kat.
Oh, we got boss life. She's not in Dallas, but she's in Texas. So
okay, yeah.
Same difference. But anyway, yeah. So I'm like, I wasn't trusting that I could determine this, because all I could see was me in an orange jumpsuit somewhere trying to explain why I told them not to take a dime in taxes out my check. But here's the thing. They tell you can control how much they take out of your check, but there's also other side to that. Now they're not saying, that you still not gonna have to settle up the bill. They saying we can take it out now, or at the end of the year, if we didn't take nothing out, you still gonna have to give us us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like we got control of more so the timing of the money coming out. If you're a W-2 employee, because W-2 employees are taxed at the highest level. What is it?
Right.
Usually like 28 to 30-something%?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So like for every $100 you make, $30, is that right? 30%?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's taken out for taxes. Now, whether you want them to just take out 10 every pay period, and at the end of the year you settle up and you give them the rest of what you owe them from that 30% of the entire year, or if you want to tell them, go and take it out now, or even take a little extra out, go and take 50 out of pay period, because that way I'm saving, I'm getting me a little savings going, because that's pretty much all a tax refund is them giving you back money that you overpaid. So
now, Melissa, let me. Something you said in the middle, not to cut you off, but you said this. I wasn't really sure how it worked, and I think that's where a lot of people get hung up at in this business, because it's our first strategy. It's like we have to really get educated on what we don't understand. And the reason why it's not being taught in school is because they really don't want the masses of people to know and to understand how it works. So we're talking about something that is not being taught in school. We're talking about something that only wealthy people are using, and they're not sharing that information. So our company was created to help people that actually work a job how to utilize the tax system, how to become wealthy. So my first thing, what I did when I joined this company was I started Googling stuff and educating myself and diving into this information. So Melissa talked about the W-4, but what is the true purpose of it? You know what I'm saying? Now, at one point I did a video and I said, man, I was online and said, hey Google, what is the purpose of the W-4? And of course, it ain't nothing Tony said. It ain't nothing Melissa said. It's what the system says. It's what the government says. It's what the IRS say the W-4 is. And this is
Right.
what I got. And like I said, I've been in this company for 10 years. The purpose of the W-4 is to tell your employer how much to withhold from your pay. Anytime your personal or situation changes, like a job, having a baby, get divorced, start a business, it is up to you, the employee, to adjust your W-4 accordingly every year. This is why we're here, because the first of every year, you have to make these adjustments. And if you don't, you're going to find yourself on the losing end every year. So I hope this is kind of making sense. But if you don't believe me or Melissa, Google it. The
Right.
information is out there. The information age is here. They can't hide this stuff from us.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. They had it from me in broad daylight on the World Wide Web. You can go
Yep.
in. I was gonna try to share, but my computer's so janky. I knew if I tried to pull it up and share the page, it was gonna cut everything off. So I was just
Yeah.
like, you know what? I ain't gonna fool with it. Hey, J True. J True came in. That's my YouTube buddy. Always coming through to support.
Man, YouTube showing up, ain't it?
YouTube showing up. So yeah. Now, so like Tom said, you know, I'm just picture it. Sicily, 1924. Okay, so I'm sitting there, I'm filling out my paperwork. He's telling me we're going to update this W-4. I'm still trying to understand what a W-4 is because I have no clue about income taxes other than at the end of the year, I hope I don't have to pay back.
Right.
So, you know, and I'm gonna be completely transparent with y'all. My experience with taxes before I started this business was I would, you know, of course, I always track my stuff, you know, track what I thought was important, you know, as far as like education stuff, like for my job, I have to keep CEUs and tithes and offering, you know, you can count stuff like that that I knew about. I would keep a little spreadsheet and stuff. And then, you know, your tax person usually has like this little questionnaire thing you fill out and they ask you questions about different stuff. But I never knew why they were asking those questions, what they had to do with how I was going to get a tax refund. Honestly, I would fill out that paperwork. I would go sit in the lobby. She would get back there with the pencil behind her ear, crunching the numbers. And then she'd call me in there and give me the news, whether it was good or bad.
Right.
I never got an explanation as to why the results was like what. So I'm sitting out there like this, the price is right. And it's my turn to get up and spin the big wheel. And you know how you be like, big money, big money. So I'm spinning and hoping it land on something good and not something bad. But, you know, fact of the matter was, a lot of times I was not having them take enough based on their standards of how much I should pay for my income and taxes, which meant I end up having a tax bill instead of a tax refund. So, you know, early on, I started asking her because, you know, I was not unhappy with my tax person, but she just didn't really explain anything to me because I was asking her, like the first time I really got hit with a big bill where I had to pay like $1,500 back. And to me, that was, hell, it's still a lot. But back then, it was really a lot. And I'm like, well, what can I do to keep this from happening next year? And she never had any useful advice for me because, you know, the typical advice is, well, you know, if you have a baby, no, we ain't finna do that. If you buy a house, I don't see the forecast either. So she didn't really have any, she never once said, consider starting a business, a home-based business. Never said that. So that wasn't even on my radar. So the other option was, okay, start having them to take more money out of your check every pay period. So I had to go back to this W-4 again and tell them, okay, take an extra $20 out every time I get paid. And I'm hoping to break even at the end of the year. And that was the only solution I had. So I just had got used to the more you make, the more taxes they're gonna take out. No
Right.
matter what you do, you're gonna still end up owing unless you just, whatever.
You know
So
what? I think you said so much in that little space right there. It's like you knew basically some things that you could write off. And
right,
I think what it is, people just don't know some of the things that you can write off and how you can merge your business with your job. People on your job is not going to talk about your business, what you got going on the outside. So our business is really showing you how to mesh the two, business and your W-4 job. Now, Melissa talked a little bit about some of the things she knew she could write off. But imagine if your tax professional would tell you in tax planning, hey, do you not know if you had a home-based business, you can write off your cable, your internet, your water, your internet, your cell phone bill? See, a lot of times those tax preparers are trying to coach you into telling them that you got a business and you really don't.
mm-hmm.
That's how you get into tax trouble. I know people now that owe 20, 30, $40,000 because they lied.
Right,
You didn't have that extra kid. You didn't have no business. But sometimes tax people will trick you into thinking or make you tell them something that you really don't have. And when you cannot produce the receipts, that's when they tear you up. That's when
right,
you're gonna owe, and they may go back 2 or 3 more years to see if you've been lying some more. So our
right,
business is legit. When I say we've been around for 20 years, you don't be around 20 years messing up and doing shady business and not having an A+. That's why I stand behind my econ, because I know the founders of the company and I know that they're doing business the right way because they are showing us that they're doing it by the code, IRS. Everything that they talk about, they can back it up. And that's what
right.
I want. That's what I like.
Yeah, because like I said, I was skeptical. All I was concerned about is jail is not gonna be a good look for me. But you know how you don't know enough to really argue because I just didn't know.
Right.
So let's go back. So the whole purpose of this live was to talk about your financial checkup, which the
Mm-hmm.
first part of that checkup is going back and looking at your W-4. Tony
Mm-hmm.
explained that the reason why we look at it at the first of the year is because the IRS tells you that that W-4 should be updated anytime your situation changes. There are so many different ways your situation can change.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, let's say you got married in the last 6 months. You obviously are got well. I won't say obviously because not everybody who's married files joint. Some
Mm-hmm.
people might file separate, but that is something that you need to go back and re-look at because
Mm-hmm.
when you filed before, the only option you had was single. Now you're married, or vice versa. Maybe you lost 150 pounds and divorced somebody. You know
Mm-hmm.
that extra
That
weight
happens.
gone,
That
and now
happens
it's
all the
just
time.
you. Once again, if you have been filing jointly or whatever, now you need to update that W-4. Or let's say, you had a kid or your kid graduated. I mean, it could go either way. You could
Mm-hmm.
have a new kid or you can have a kid that's no longer uh, your dependent, meaning
Mm-hmm.
they may still be living in the house with you, but they're working and they got their own W-4 they're filling out. So you can
Mm-hmm.
no longer put them down as somebody you can claim as a dependent. All of these things, and it doesn't have to be the first of the year, but the first of the year is a good time to look at it because the calendar year is starting over and your salary is starting over. Like January 1st, you start a whole new year when you get that first paycheck. It's gonna be starting from the first 2 weeks or 4 weeks, however you get paid.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and it's tracking. So if you make a clean start and do it at the first of the year, then you already know where you're going. Now, some stuff may not happen. Like if you find out you're pregnant and you don't have a child till August, that's not something you knew at the first of the year. So in
Mm-hmm.
that case, go ahead and update that W-4 as soon as that child is born, or you know, God forbid, you may lose a spouse as far as like they may pass away. You don't have any timing on it. So when that happens, I know you got a lot going on, but this is the time you need to update W4. What are some other examples? You might have a kid going to college, you
Mm-hmm.
know, or something like that. There are all kinds of reasons that you
Hey, I
need
tell you,
to.
one of the things that got us is when COVID hit, that's part of it too. Is if you lose some hours, especially you look, y'all, the new administration coming in, and it's already some industries that are suffering right now, and they're cutting back hours.
Mhm.
And you may not be able to make the same amount of money. So
Right.
if what we're talking about is if you have your W-4 set up correctly, you may be able to give yourself a huge pay raise that can float you till the next pay period or when your hours pick up from your job. So that's why I say that we have a wealth building system because it doesn't allow the government to utilize your money. You have access to your money. And if you fill it out wrong or incorrectly, that means you're kind of like overextending yourself and you're not giving yourself the money to free you up. You need money to pay your bills. You need money to buy groceries and put gas in your car. So if you're giving all your money up and waiting till next year to get it, then you're
Right.
not benefiting from it.
Exactly. And this is something, whether you're a home-based business owner or not, this is information that goes across the board. Everybody should check their W-4 and make sure that they're at a place where they're comfortable. Because you will hear people complaining because they ended up on last year. But they won't take a minute to go and review their W-4 and see if they need to make some adjustments so
Mm-hmm.
that, yeah, they might take a little more out of your check right now, but would you rather them to take the money now or have this big bill at the end of the year? Because, that's a
Oh
lot of
man,
stress. That's a
that's
lot of
that's
stress
good.
when you go back there and they show you that thing and say, well, you're going to owe $2,700.
Mm.
$2,700?
How did I do that?
That's a shock to your system. But if you go ahead and update, and see, here's the thing: we keep talking about update. The W-4 asks you basic questions that only you can answer. Are you single? You married? Do you have dependents? What are some of the other things that are on the W-4? Just basics
Yeah,
questions.
are you contributing to your 401k? Do you
Good.
have a business? And like I say, most people do not know what's on their W-4 form and they shy away from it. Our company
Yeah.
has a block of instructions. And this
Right.
is why I'm saying get the membership. We can't tell you everything is in the membership. It's like I've heard a lot of my mentors say, it's just like a haircut. You have to be there to utilize the system. And
Right.
I gotta say this too, Melissa. It's like when people don't understand it, they don't do anything. It's like a deer in the headlights, right? They
That's
they
it.
looking and seeing and understanding, but they just stuck. You
That's
stuck
it.
there like, now what do I do? Now I don't want to sound like no dummy. I don't want to sound like I'm stupid, but look, no questions are stupid when you don't really know. And our company educates, and it's okay not to know because I didn't know. I've
Right.
been wrong on mine for about 17 plus, and I was like, man, I've been wanting to kick myself in the tail every time I look at how much money that I've actually gave away, and I could have
Right.
been using throughout my paycheck.
I don't even. I made so many bad decisions with money over the years. I don't even want to go back and visit. It's like the spill, don't cry over spilled milk. But it's like, had I known the information that I've learned in the last 10 years that I've been involved with this business, I could be, I know you worried about where I could be because I ain't there, but I could be possibly retiring this year,
Yeah,
had I made the right decision.
yeah.
So, like we said, this is for people across the board to do the checkup. But if you decide to become a home-based business owner with us and my econ, then not only do you learn, but you get to learn about some new deductions or write-offs. And I didn't even know a deduction and a write-off was the same thing. I had
Mm.
to learn that. So, like, once you become a business owner, like Tony said, we're sitting here now. I'm using my cell phone to record. that makes my cell phone a business expense for me. I can't write the entire cell phone off because I use it for business and I use it for, personal.
Personal.
But 85% of that can be written off as a business expense. So if let's say I'm gonna use a nice round number because I don't feel like doing the math. Let's say your cell phone bill is $100 every month. If you have a business and you're using your phone for that business, 85 of that $100 comes back to you because it's a business expense. What happens when you go from being an employee to a business owner is you get to I don't want to say they give you a break, but it kind of is a break because they know if you are an entrepreneur and you have your own business, you having to foot a lot of expenses that the person who's going to work for somebody else don't have to worry about.
Right.
Because it's completely you. Just like you making all the money, you gotta just, set aside the money for your taxes. Good part about that, when you have your own business, you make the money, you use the money to keep your business going, and then they tax you on what's left over. So if your business makes you $100,000 and you have legitimate proof that 80,000 of that money was, went towards the business in some kind of way, they're gonna tax you on that remaining 20,000 because you needed the rest of it to operate your business. But here's the thing: 2 things you need to have a home-based business. You need to make an attempt. Am I saying it right?
Yep.
Attempt to make a profit,
Right.
basically. So, like when Tony and I come out here every week-ish and start talking to y'all and telling you about this business and sharing information with you, true enough, we're coming out here to provide information, but we're also attempting to make a profit because we're looking for business partners and people who want to, do the same thing we're doing. So whether somebody reaches out to us at the end of this video or not, we held our part of the bargain on that. We attempted to make a profit by sharing information with you and giving you avenues to start or sign up with us. The second part of that is you have to keep good records. Now, we could be doing all of this, the videos and the phone and all that stuff, but we're not tracking how much we pay a month for this, how much we're paying for, all. If you don't have that proof for the IRS, then it's like it never happened. They're not gonna take your word for it. You need to have receipts. Receipts can be, our business makes it real simple. It comes with a cash flow manager that helps you track all your expenses. It's an app you put on your phone. You can screenshot what you got and it's gonna put it in this system for you. So at the end of the year, when it's time for you to file taxes, which is coming up now, the only thing you have to do if you have been consistently tracking everything is print it out and send it, or if you do your own taxes, do it yourself. But if you send it to a tax preparer, you've been tracking it all along. So you're covered. So you've taken care of part A, attempting to make a profit, and part B, where you have tracked your
That's
mileage,
good.
your
Yep.
receipt for everything, your phone bill. My cash flow manager has everything in it from my rent to my cell phone bill to my utility bills to mileage on my car, new tires, any expenses. Anytime I've traveled out of town and it's included this business in my travel, which is, trust me, every time.
And,
Because
and,
how
and
hard is
basically,
it?
and basically, all Melissa is saying is that this is her lifestyle. Everybody has a lifestyle. Whether you like to eat out every day, whether you like to travel every weekend or every month, nobody really likes to pay his bill. But the thing about it is why not turn those everyday ordinary bills into business deductions? The government already understands you need these things to operate your business. So it's not like you're lying. You are paying your bills sometime on time. And if not, you need to start tracking that so you can start getting some of your money back. I think
Right.
one of the main things most people are fearful of, and this may shed some light on it, everybody pays taxes, right?
Mhm.
You need to know what your tax liability is. The only way that you can lower those tax liabilities is to invest more, or like me and Melissa is doing, is starting a business where we can lower our taxable income with business deductions. And once you start getting into this business, you'll learn this, and it'll be second nature to you when it's time for you to put in a receipt for tracking in our cash flow manager. Like Melissa talked about, we have the system. You don't have to go look for one. We have everything you need to succeed as a home-based business owner with my econ.
Exactly. And you just brought up a good point. Like this business is all about strategies to get to where you're trying to be financially. One of the strategies that I really didn't know about or how it really worked is your 401k. You know, that is you keep hearing, they love throwing around terms like pre-tax and all this stuff. You like, what does that mean? you know, so once I started this business, I learned that when they say pre-tax, that means, when they get ready to decide how much you owe or you're going to get back, they base it on your taxable income. Not all of your income is going to be taxable. So if you have things coming out of your paycheck, such as your 401k, I have a health savings account, all of those things, that money is not included when they're calculating how much I made for the year. That is what's considered pre-tax. So what I've learned to do, a strategy, and we just got the email this morning, every year usually you get some type of raise, whether it's 2%, 1%, whatever. Think about it like this. Before now, I was not making it. So if I go ahead and take that amount and add it to my 401k, I'm not going to miss it because I'm not used to having that little. And the thing of it is, I'm saying little because usually they give you so little that when you break it down per paycheck, it may not be no more than $50 a paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not saying that's nothing, but if you didn't have it before, you ain't gonna miss it. So
Right.
go ahead and put that over in your 401k and start increasing how much money you're saving over there. See, that's something nobody ever told me about. If they did tell me, I was too dumb to understand it. Because
Mm-hmm.
I actually, when I got ready to start a job at one point, because I was used to 401k, they're going to match you whatever you make. So I was starting with this company and they said, well, we don't match. I said, so it's just going to be what I put in there? And they were like, yeah. So I'm like, well, what that is that? That's just
Mm-hmm.
like I can do a savings account. And she said, but it's gonna be pre-tax. Well, back then, that was just like saying me it was gonna be jackhammer or Benjamin Blue. That didn't mean nothing to me.
Right.
so now after I understood it, I'm like, oh, okay. So whatever I put in there, that's gonna lower my taxable income and I'm gonna be taxed less. So just because they're not matching it doesn't mean it's not important. See, little
Right.
stuff like that,
Yep.
I had no clue about.
Come on now. And that, to me, you know what? The little bit of information that you don't know could be costing you down the road. And when you get to that point, and then that drum roll at the tax professional office say, hey, you owe us 4,500, how will you pay? And you be like, what happened? And now you mad at your tax preparer because they're not giving you the information. I'm gonna tell you, all they want most of the time is to get your pay, how much you owe them at the end of the day, and then let's see you next year. Now you
Exactly.
got to know and ask them, why is it I'm owing at the end of the year? Some know and some don't. But
Right.
if you join this business, we want to make sure you don't owe, and you're going to know exactly what your tax liability is and how to lower it.
And we've been focusing so much, and that's the side I'm familiar with. But we've been focusing more on people who end up owing. Well, let's flip it over and look at the people who get a big refund back.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it, wouldn't you rather have that money during the year when all of these expenses are popping up instead of sitting there thinking in July, oh, I can't wait till income tax come around so I can get my money. You can get that money right now. You don't have to
Mm-hmm.
wait. If you fill
Right.
out that W-4 correctly to the point where you're telling them, I don't want a refund. I'm filling it out so that I break even. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
Lakeisha that popped up.
Hey,
How you doing?
Kiki.
So, and that's another one that be doing it. I've been watching her videos. She working her business. Okay. So, if let's say something comes up, and in this new economy, I don't know what it's gonna be like, but you can expect anything. So just based on inflation alone, there were a lot of things that I used to could just pay cash for and not even have to worry about putting on a credit card. But because inflation has hiked up the prices on a lot of stuff, I find myself having to do a little more swiping. So let's say you getting back $10,000 as a cash refund, and you gotta wait till January to
Right.
get it by doing it the way you're doing it now. But every month, because you coming up short here and coming up short there, you having to use your credit card. So
Mm-hmm.
now, where your credit, at one point you may have been able to pay that balance off at the end of every month.
Right.
Now it's not so easy to do that.
That's right.
So not only is your credit card bill going up, but you getting interest charge. Because if you pay
Mm-hmm.
it off at the end of every month, they don't charge you no interest. It's just like cash.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have to let it roll over,
Mm-hmm.
interest is gonna be on there. So you sitting here banking on this $10,000 you're gonna get in January. And
Right.
it's March. It's
Mm.
March. You got 9 months to go. And
Ooh.
you gonna just keep trying to stretch your credit card and go without, just so you can get that big payoff at the end of the year.
Mm.
It ain't worth it, y'all.
It
It is
sure
not
ain't.
worth
Cause
it.
really, once you get it, you're gonna have to pay it back to the credit card companies because them interest, them fees, 28%, 30%. I'm talking about, come on now. This is what we talk about when we say lost opportunity costs. It's like you're worried about losing $60, but you're losing $300.
Mm-hmm.
The math don't be mathing when you don't understand how your taxes work. You're going to work every day to get a good paycheck. You're working overtime to get a good paycheck. And then when you get the paycheck, you look at how much taxes they've taken out of your check. And now you having to do it all over again. This is where the W-4 comes in at to make it work for you. This is how you maximize your take home pay and not be worried at the end of the year if you're going to owe. You're going to know, and you should know what your tax liability is. I don't care if you're making $12 an hour to $100 an hour. Everybody pays taxes, but lowering your taxable income is what nobody talks about. But
Right.
I'm telling you, people with money know it. They know how not to overpay. They know how not to wait on a refund check. We're talking about wealth strategies and principles that us that work every day need to be using to be able to get ahead and not be getting into these vicious cycles every year, like from October, from Halloween all the way to the first of the year, you floating a whole bunch of debt, trying to make sure that you are feeding into this capitalistic system to make you buy, to make you spend, to make you charge. So this is what we're doing. We're just trying to make sure you're aware that if you're going to spend some money, why not try to get some of that money back through the tax system, and you don't struggle every year.
Right. And it's little things like we were just talking about, knowing that you putting that little raise you got into your 401k can make a big difference on how much you're taxed.
Mm.
And usually, now the app is down from December 31st to January 31st, but there is a, what is it called? The tax. I can't never think of the name of it. The
Talking about the
estimator.
estimator.
The estimator. This is something I would, if you go online to irs.gov and type in estimating taxes, it will pull up this app. Well, not necessarily an app, but it's the website. And you go in and you fill it out, and it will tell you based on the information you put in, which is coming straight off of your paycheck. So this is why now, like I said, it's down right now because they're updating it for the new financial year. So it'll be available in February based on what I saw on irs.gov. So you go in, you answer the questions. It's going to ask you Like, how often do you get paid? Um, it's going to have you read things directly from your pay stub. So only you can answer these questions. And then at the end, when you get to it, it's going to tell you based on what information you're giving them, how much you're going to owe or how much you're going to get back at the end of the year. At this point, that is when you're able to go into this W-4 and decide, well, you know what, let's adjust this and see how much that lowers it. Or in my case, I say, well, I think I'm gonna put an extra $50 a paycheck into my 401k. It's gonna put that in the estimate, and then it's gonna tell me by doing that the difference it makes in what I take home and what I'm gonna owe at the end of the year. So, they're giving you something that you can use to help you figure this out, but they just not out advertising it for everybody.
Right.
That's where we come in. That's why we get on here on Thursdays.
Yeah.
And share this information because it's out there, but that's not something. If they got to decide between advertising a Valentine's Day special and how much everything gonna cost and what they got on sale versus advertising how you can fix your W-4 so that you don't owe, guess
Right.
what they can go with? Valentine's
Look,
Day.
hey, but listen, you be hitting that, man. You be hitting that, and when you be talking, it may be. I just get all warm and fuzzy because you speaking the truth. We talking about results, right? And people don't know this, but look, if you're in position to help somebody, cause you know it worked for you, you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna get really excited about sharing that. Man, do you realize that they said it was over 80% of people don't know this information. Like I say, me and Melissa, I don't have a bachelor's degree in nothing. My common sense told me if I watch a wealthy person use these strategies, I too can become wealthy. And I'm telling y'all, man, I'm at the cusp, at the brink of becoming wealthy. You ain't gonna never know it though, because I'm not really flashy like that. And
Right.
I see how the co-founder of my company moves. They're not flashy. So it's like once I get it, all I gotta do is just keep sharing what I've learned. I gotta keep sharing my blessing with other people. And I'm not concerned about who don't join because I know the right person gonna show up to get this information and we all gonna be wealthy. And that's when you really building generational wealth with like-minded people and taking care of you and your family. That's what it's all about.
Me and this rigged up phone now. Let me make sure I don't fall out and hit the floor. Okay, so yeah. And Lakevia's asking the question. She said, will the estimator also tell them what to put on their W-4 form?
Oh,
Yes. It,
yes.
it, it lets you walk, like when you do this process with this estimator, it's just a tool for you to play around with to see what you want to put on the real form. So you can go and put out whatever scenarios. Now make sure they accurate. Don't put on there that you only making 20,000 when you make 40,000 because it's
Yeah.
gonna do calculations based on what you put in there. But it's gonna show you like if you do this much, this is what you're gonna owe. If you do this much, this is how much you might get back. So it gives you the information you need. And just to further go on what Tony was saying, anybody who knows me personally, and people find it hard to believe, but I'm very introverted. I've always been a very shy person and not one that would ever see myself doing something like this where I'm getting on a social media thing and talking to people live. But and the reason why, like you said, we get so passionate about it is because when I'm sitting here telling y'all I done struggled and messed up some money, I ain't lying. I'm telling y'all the God honest truth. So because what I've learned has put me in a better position, I'm extremely passionate about sharing it with other people because I know there's a lot of people out there that were just like me. And when I think about had I not started this business 10 years ago, where I would be
Where would I
financially
be?
based on the way I was
Yeah.
handling finances without the knowledge.
Yeah.
And I just feel blessed. And I feel blessed to the point because what, like I said, whether anybody decides to sign up after watching this video or not, I'm still fulfilled my part in sharing the information And I'm definitely gonna be tracking the information because like this StreamYard ain't cheap. And I'm gonna tell
Yeah.
y'all, I probably ain't gonna have it after this membership is up because they done jacked the prices up. Inflation hit everything. But
Right.
what gives me solace is I can write this off. This is a deduction because I needed StreamYard to be able to do what we're doing right now. I'm gonna have to learn how to do it without StreamYard at some point. But it's a justified expense. And you know, when they say knowledge is power, that's not just a saying, that is for real.
Yeah.
When you understand, when you get an understanding on something and you can make decisions based on a clear understanding, or what they call it, an informed decision versus just flying by the seat of your pants, you feel a lot better. Like, you know, one of the things that Tony and I have said, even with the new change in the country structure with the new president coming up, you know, I'm not saying that you're not concerned because you don't know what to expect, but it's a different kind of concern when you understand
The
finances.
power structure. You don't understand the
Right,
power structure. Yeah.
right. So it's like, you know, well, if they do this, we still can do this. We
Yeah.
have strategies.
Mm-hmm.
Having a business gives you strategy. And like you said, everything, in my opinion, it's just my opinion,
Mm.
because he is a business owner, the people he deals with are business owners are going to have the best situation financially. Why would he make it tougher on people that have a business when he got one? You
Right.
know, that'd be
Yeah.
like me telling everybody to go out there and sell their get rid of their cars, knowing they ain't got no way to get to work other than in the car. What
Right.
sense would that make? That would be like, messing myself up if I get rid of my car and I know I got to go to work every day. So of course he's gonna do, in my opinion, like I said, I ain't had no conversation with the man. He probably wouldn't talk to me if I begged him. But I can honestly say I feel like he is gonna do what's in the best interest of business owners before he does it for
Yeah,
the
what they do, they consider how they rule the trickle down effect. Is they feel like if we get the people at the top fat enough, they'll be able to sprinkle a little bit down extra. And if you open your mouth wide enough, you might catch some
you
of
might
it.
catch
I'm
a
telling
little.
y'all, that's
You
how
might
they do
catch a
it.
little.
So I'm already understanding. I gotta move differently. I can't overpay my taxes. I can't
Right,
allow them to use my tax dollars to go do foolish stuff with it, like it's gonna help me. The first thing they're gonna do is raise taxes, right? And
right,
the debt ceiling going here, and your paycheck doing this. So all I
right.
know, I gotta operate. I gotta start investing in the S&P 500. I gotta start investing in businesses. I gotta start lowering my taxes. Right? This is how we win in a capitalistic society, and you got to start your business. I think right now, how we get rid of leave, our business is only like $40 a month, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people
Which
thinking,
is
"Woo, that's a lot."
a deduction.
Yeah, but the people scared us a lot. They say you're gonna have what is it, a scarcity mindset, or you're gonna be on the other side. Well, you
Right.
can't be scared in this business. You got to step outside of what they've taught you and start learning what you don't know. And that's how you're gonna get be successful. Just connect
Exactly.
with us. Yeah.
And Lakivia asked another good question. She said, "Are you able to write off the StreamYard subscription because you are a business owner?"
Oh,
Lakivia, I have done that for the last 3 years. It
yeah.
is on my cash flow manager. I go ahead and pay the annual instead of doing it month by month. I put that on there, and it's a business expense, so I get that money back. So the answer to that is absolutely yes.
Hey, I'm gonna tell Lakivia this right here too is the hiring of your child is really big. If you got your kids on any of your videos, whether you holding them or you talking to them, you can pay them. I think it's probably going to go up to 15,000 per child this year because they're still changing some of the deductions. But if you got
Right.
a child and you got them on your live or you have them in a video, like I do with my daughter all the time, I have to pay
Mhm.
her a wage I know she got stuff for school. She'll be a senior next year, so I know that I can take that money out of her account, right? That's going to lower my taxable income. And man, I'm gonna tell y'all, these strategies are what other people been doing. It's just we late to the game, and our
Exactly.
company is sharing this stuff with us, man. I'm telling y'all, me and Melissa understands now. Our kids are going to be a lot farther ahead than we were. You know what I'm saying? It's just the way it's supposed to go. You're supposed to learn something and pass that knowledge down to your kids.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
because I started this business November 2015. And approximately a week later, I hired my daughter, and she has been my employee ever since. So she has had a job working for me for
right.
10 years.
Okay.
Now, when we started, she was 5 years old, so it was very limited on what she could do. But I'm telling you what she could do: get
Right.
on a video and act a fool with her mama, and she
Yeah.
did.
Okay. And then
And she got paid for it. And because I was paying her, it was an expense to me, which was also a deduction. So there are all types of strategies out there that if you just are open to listening, learning, and sharing, they can help you. I mean, a business owner, and don't think you have to have like this powerful job to start a business. You could be making minimum wage. The same principles apply. You know, you just will have a smaller amount to work with
Mhm.
than who's some of the rich people.
Hey,
You know,
I like to talk about Candace and CJ. They worked at McDonald's for a number of years when they joined this company, and now at 27, 28 years old, they're looking they high seven figure earners off of a $40 membership. So it has nothing to do with your job title description, whether you're a janitor, you work at McDonald's, flip fries. It don't matter if you're a doctor or a lawyer. We all have to do the same thing in this system is lowering your taxable income, starting a business, and just adding value to the marketplace that they talk about. It's like there are millions of people that need this information, that's working a job and struggling every day, struggling with bills and credit. We know people at your job are struggling. They might not tell you, but they struggling with this. And imagine if you become the plug and share that information to change their lives.
exactly. And you may have a way of sharing it that Tony and I don't have. Everybody has their own testimony. Everybody has their own way. The good thing about this business, because it's 100% digital, meaning you can do everything from your phone. Your average, I don't know what they call millennials or X's or whatever their names are. The people that's in their 20s and 30s, they live on the phone anyway.
Right.
It's nothing for them to do a video or to share stuff. They they can get the same deductions and the same stuff that we are talking about in our 50s. They can be
Hmm.
doing it now. And so when he mentioned CJ and Candace, they were under 30. They came in, listened to what was going on, took that information and
Took off.
took off. I'm talking about got me and Tony standing here looking like we on the side of the road with a tin can taking up donations. That's how good they were with hey the hood table. We finna get ready to get out of here, but catch the
Hey,
replay.
hey. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, they came in and took to this business because they were so up on the technology and how to average. They share a video and get 50,000 views. Out of 50,000, maybe 100 people say, "Oh, it's only $20 for me to get started. I can do
Right.
that."
Yeah.
Just like that, they just signed up 20 people.
Hmm.
So they kept growing their business and growing their business and stuff. Now, old fogey like myself, I do stuff one at a time. I'm not a multitasker. I can't do too many social medias at one time. All of that is work for me. But if you catch somebody at that early age, for example, the hood table, I know your sons are in their 20s. They probably could take information like this and turn this into same thing CJ and Candace now did. And I'm still sitting around trying to figure out now what y'all did, how you did it. But it's the sex stories like that where these are they just took a chance. They what they had to lose. Nothing.
it is motivating when you see somebody that doesn't have a degree and don't have all the accolades. Because people think you got to go to college to be successful. That's not true. Times have changed. The social media wide open, the internet wide open, and people become overnight success overnight. Now, this company is not a get rich quick. You're gonna have to put a little work in. But
Yeah.
I'm telling y'all, it's enough people inside of the membership if you can learn from. I'm learning from people every day. You know what I'm saying? The younger generation. I'm doing my little TikTok thing. I'm cutting up and dancing and singing and all of that stuff. One day, I'm gonna tell y'all when I get there, you ain't gonna know it. But man, one thing you know, I ain't gonna have no job. But I'm gonna still do this business because I believe in it. I see the results, and I want my daughter to see how daddy went from a job to a business owner and now a mogul for real. You know what I'm saying? And I can pass that down.
Yep, generational wealth. That's what it's all about.
Oh
And
yeah,
you know, if only one person gets something out of this, that's enough for me. Because that one person might share it with somebody else. And I'm telling y'all, I don't know what this year gonna hold. You know, well, I ain't got no crystal ball, but you know, we're running things now. So we got to be strategic
right,
in how we handle our money because we're not gonna be priority.
right. You
I can
better
tell you
believe
this.
it. You
I can
better
tell you
believe
this.
it.
So anyway, we done been on here for over an hour. We got to
That was
talking,
good.
but
Good
the
stuff, Coach.
conversation
Coach,
was,
you did that. You did your thing this week.
Leah, let's see what you're gonna do next week. And look, this gonna be the conversation, y'all. Is it my turn? I thought I did it last. That's what the conversation gonna be.
That's what it's gonna be.
I know it.
Oh
I know.
man.
But anyway, thank you guys for coming out. If you heard anything on here that you are interested in hearing more about, please reach out to myself or to Tony. I did pin Tony's YouTube a link to the top of the comments on YouTube. So go over and subscribe. If it's not, I tell people this: if this is not for you, still share it because it may be somebody else who it is for, and you could be a blessing to somebody else.
That's right.
Everybody's not ready for stuff at the same time. Like
Right.
I may not have been ready to hear all this 15 years ago, but 10 years ago was the perfect timing and I jumped on it and I'm glad I did. So just because it's not something that you're ready for, share it. It may be
That's right.
somebody else who can benefit from it.
Mm.
So Tony and I, well, you know, they say TikTok going away. So don't worry about TikTok, but we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube. Reach out to us for information. We're not the type of people that's gonna worry you to death. If you
Mm.
want information, we're gonna do just that. Send you the information. What you decide to do with it is up to you. But
It's
we
up to you.
here.
That's
We're
right.
here. You can't say we're
Oh,
not here. So Tony, thank you for coming through and hanging out with me this evening.
oh yeah.
You always come through and sprinkle your pepper seasonings on everything
Don't
and
know.
you know, get it going.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll be back next week to
Next
talk
week.
about something else. We
Show
may
up.
talk about the same thing. It don't matter.
That's right. That's right.
But for everybody who commented and was active in the chat, thank you so much
Thank
to
y'all.
Boss Life Online, to Be Amazing Sylvia, Cat Dimples, my girl in Dallas, Lakivia, J Truth, the Hood Table. Thank you for everybody who came through and
All
supported
right.
tonight. You know, a lot of times we feel like we just gonna be on here talking to ourselves. So anytime somebody comes through and be like, hey, we be getting excited about that, you know. But if you catch the replay, share, like, subscribe, and we'll see y'all next time.
Awesome.
But let me see, you know, my phone been acting crazy. I'm see if I can get us out of here. It didn't even do right with the whole what you call it?
Intro.
Intro. So
Yeah.
I don't know what the outro gonna do. We're gonna see
Okay,
that.
let's see.
If all else fail, I'm just gonna pull the plug. Bye y'all. Let's see. Might have to pull the plug. Cause I'm hitting the button and it ain't doing nothing. Okay.
Thanks for tuning in. Are you ready to start your home-based business? If your answer is yes, contact Melissa or Tony and get started today.